This isn't that important, so why bother? That's the fundamental core of the counter-argument against film criticism. It's just a movie, so who cares, right? These sorts of comments come up frequently, and they do raise a valid question. What's the point of film criticism? After all, it is just entertainment, so shouldn't we just enjoy it for what it is? Stop nitpicking at the details, and if we don't like it, maybe just don't watch it. Well, under certain circumstances, and to some degree, maybe that's fair, but overall, I'd say film criticism is not only good, it's not only worthwhile, but it's absolutely necessary for the preservation of the art form. And I say this for anyone who offers something to say about film. Regardless of if they come from the industry or not, they carry the voice of the audience, and without that voice, often throwing the metaphorical rotten fruit onto stage, there might be no discernment between the masterworks of artists and their tone-deaf counterparts. If everything is a masterpiece, then nothing truly is. And film, I believe, is possibly the greatest of all the art forms, as it blends all of them together, giving the audience the beauty of moving pictures, meshed with dramatic tales, played out by actors on a stage, and all set to a beautiful score. And it's also the most widely accessible art form, and you can find it in all of its tiny little variations, especially in Western culture, everywhere. So because of its lofty position, being possibly the greatest art form, and its widespread, then shouldn't it be held to the highest possible standard? Should it not then have the highest demand for greatness placed upon it, especially knowing the amount of money that goes into this industry, and how difficult it is for those who want just to be a part of it to break in? Film needs scrutiny. It should be praised in its triumphs, but then also criticized in its failures. This is how we can discern from the great and the less than great. And while numbers from the box office and popular opinion don't always get it right, at least there is some sort of a guide. And without that, the works of the greats cease to be that. Now, specifically in relation to Tolkien and the upcoming Rings of Power, to make a brief analogy, I recently visited the Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida. On display beside Dali was a special exhibit where they had select works from the early days of Picasso, and one of which was a very tiny sketchbook. And having my camera with me, I took this photo of it. It was kept behind a protected glass casing. The value of this tiny book, I can't even imagine. In the same way that Picasso's sketchbook was protected and set apart even from everything else, so in the same way are the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, and the stories and the worlds that he built, the languages he created. They're special. They're set aside even from other great works of fantasy. And Amazon seems to be coming into this metaphorical exhibit with a sledgehammer, cracking open the glass case, taking out this invaluable work, tossing it over their shoulder, and telling us they have something just as good. And while it's true, we haven't seen the final product yet, we can see where their focus lies, in their reproduction, and it just isn't on Tolkien. Criticism of the arts is necessary. Otherwise, Picasso's sketchbook might as well be placed next to drunken doodles on the back of a barstool napkin. Well, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on film criticism?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.